Paris. It's a city of love and romance where people pursue their dreams with amazing culture and food, but it's expensive. Or is it? If you're new here, I'm Sean. My wife Lacey and I, we sold everything back home in Vancouver, Canada, so that we could travel Europe for the rest of the year. Our first stop was in Paris, and we had an amazing time experiencing the city. So I'm sure like many of you guys, Lacey and I are both budget conscious, and Paris is not a cheap city to explore. However, we found some amazing ways to save money while still enjoying all that the city has to offer. We're in Paris for 6 full days, and in this video, we'll walk through what we spent in each day. And be sure to stick around until the end of the video because we're gonna walk through some great ways on how you can save money while you're in Paris.
Let's go!
We'll start with accommodation, as that's one of the larger expenses for traveling. For the 6 days that we were there, we took the Airbnb route. And we actually had to book 2 Airbnbs for this trip based on the availability. Both Airbnbs were studios large enough for 2 people. So for the first Airbnb, it was in the southeastern area of Paris, and it was about a 30-minute walk from the Eiffel Tower. It was perfect and had a queen-sized bed, a kitchen, bathroom, and some space for our luggage. You could even see the Eiffel Tower from our kitchen. This Airbnb cost us €91.84 per night for 3 nights. Our second Airbnb was really small, although it was closer to the Eiffel Tower. As you can see here from the footage, it's a tiny space, but it's got the essential. It's got this bunk bed style with a couch underneath, and then it's got a small little bathroom and a kitchenette, and that's about it. This particular Airbnb cost us €79.97 per night for the last 3 nights. Altogether, our accommodation cost us €515.43 for 6 nights. This averages to €85.91 per night across all 6 nights. All right, let's get into our spending here. So we arrived into Paris on Thursday, September 15th between 9 and 10 a.m. local time. We ended up having breakfast as well on the plane, and that was included with our flight. Now, my mom's side is actually French, and being back in Paris was a great opportunity to see some extended family and for me to practice my French as well. After making our way through customs and through the airport, we ended up taking the train to Paris, and this cost us €20.60.
So Paris's transit system is actually the perfect way to get around here. They have a great metro system that includes buses, trams, trains, everything. So if you're gonna use the transit system, it's just under €2 and you can go multiple times within 90 minutes to 2 hours. And that also kind of depends on which form of transportation you use. Another thing, you can actually buy packs of 10 for a discounted price if you're gonna be here for a bit. I would definitely recommend doing this over Uber or taxiing here because it's actually really convenient and it goes everywhere.
When we arrived, we had some time before we had to check into our Airbnb. So Lacey and I actually decided to go to the suburbs and see my mom's aunt, spend a little bit of time with her, take showers, have something to eat before we go check into our Airbnb. Continuing onwards into the suburbs on the metro cost us an additional €7.30. We also couldn't resist stopping at a boulangerie, which translates to bakery in English. We both had a quiche and we split a croissant, and this cost us €8. So later on in the afternoon, we checked into our Airbnb and we decided to go for a nice long walk to start experiencing the city. Lacey and I love admiring the old buildings and architecture in the city, and that's just something you don't get back home in Vancouver. So in France, there are tons of pharmacies and they sell more than just medicine. They also sell skincare, and for Lacey, she wanted to check these out so she could pick up a few items that she wouldn't find back home. We dropped in at a pharmacy and we ended up spending €31.55. On our way home, we stopped in at another boulangerie and pâtisserie, which translates to pastry shop. We got some snacks here, which cost us €6.10. For dinner, we stopped in at a grocery store to pick up some items, and this cost us €17.32. So this brings our grand total for day 1 to €182.71, including accommodation. Today is Friday, and we got the day started early. Right now, we're taking the digital nomad route. So as we travel, we'll be documenting everything across our social media platforms. So be sure to follow along and subscribe if you want to see more travel content. Started off this morning picking up some groceries for breakfast, which cost us €15.36. After breakfast, we walked over to a coffee shop and did some work for the morning. We got some coffees there and this cost us €11.90. For lunch, we stopped at a boulangerie and grabbed some sandwiches from there. It was €9.50 for the 2 sandwiches. I think it's hilarious that our lunch was actually cheaper than the coffees we had right beforehand. In the evening, we decided to walk over to the Eiffel Tower and check that out because we were close by. We ended up grabbing some dinner around there, which was a bit of a splurge, and it cost us €51 for dinner. And after that, we went for a nice long evening walk. One of the things that Lacey noticed was that everyone carries tote bags, and they use their tote bags to put groceries, to get miscellaneous items, everything there. And Lacey really wanted to grab a tote bag for us, so we picked up one at a mall and it cost us €8. We ended off the night stopping off at a restaurant, and we both grabbed a glass of wine, and this cost €9 for the two of us. So the grand total for day 2 was €196.60, including our accommodation. All right, so today was a big adventure day for us. Again, we started off with our morning coffees, and this cost us €6.15. We then went to grab some groceries for breakfast, and this cost us €9. We also had to make a quick pit stop at a pharmacy to grab some dry shampoo for Lacey, and that cost €4. So we went today for another really long walk across the city. We got to check out many of the sites along the way, such as the Pantheon, and we walked up this well-known street called La Rue Mouffetard. This particular street is really cute, and it's got a lot of restaurants and great little shops that you can go in and check out. After walking around this area, we then stopped in at another coffee shop, and we both got some coffees, and this cost us €7.50. Next up on our spending, we had a late lunch. We went to grab some crepes, and that cost us €14.80. It was so good. One of the things that we found is that you can really walk into any restaurant and you're gonna get a great meal. So after lunch, our walk led us towards the river Seine, which is the river that runs through Paris, and we ended up walking by Notre Dame. At this point, we wanted another coffee, so it was our third coffee shop of the day, which was right by Notre Dame, and this cost us €11. We walked around some more, and then we decided just to sit by the river Seine and hang out and rest. So tonight we're actually spending it with my extended family that I haven't seen in over 7 years. So we took the train to my mom's uncle's place, and the metro tickets cost us €3.80. And then we spent the rest of the evening catching up with family, which was really nice. We ended up having dinner as well, so that didn't cost us anything. And then one of my relatives was kind enough to offer us a ride back to our Airbnb, so we didn't have any transportation costs there as well. So for Saturday, we ended up spending a grand total of €148.29, including our accommodation. So a little bit less today. Today is Sunday, and we ended up taking a rest day. We were out really late last night with my side of the family, so we slept in the morning. We also had to check out of our first Airbnb today to move to the second one. But unfortunately, we couldn't check into our new Airbnb until the evening. But the owners of the Airbnb were super nice. They actually live 2 floors above in the same building, and they offered to keep our bags while we go out and we do stuff, which was super nice of them, and then we picked them up later on. So after dropping our bags, we went out to grab some brunch today. We went to this restaurant that had a fixed brunch plate with a bunch of items across this charcuterie board. There was cheese, bread, there was an apple tart, there was salami, creme brulee, salad, just a very wide variety on this one board. It was really good, and Lacey and I actually ended up splitting this board because it was quite filling. It cost us €33.50. In the afternoon before checking into our next Airbnb, we went over to a Starbucks just to do a little bit of work. I got a tea there and it cost €3. Because we had brunch pretty late, it ended up being close to dinner time. We went for a walk and we found another restaurant for dinner, and this ended up costing €32.60. And to wrap up the night, we split a raspberry tart for dessert that we got at a local pâtisserie, and this cost us €5.50. So Sunday's total, including accommodation, was €154.54. We woke up this morning and we both had sore throats and stuffed nose. Thankfully, no fevers. As a result, we ended up sleeping all morning, and we didn't end up leaving the place until around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Because we were a bit more energetic, we went over to a coffee shop to grab some coffee. We spent the day working there, resting, and we had some lunch as well, so the total bill was €43.70 altogether. There was also some other miscellaneous purchases that happened that day. We stopped in at this Dutch store called Hema. It reminds me a little bit of a nicer version of a dollar store. There were some random miscellaneous items and candy that we got there, and it cost us €8. We also dropped in at Sephora to grab something for Lacey, and that cost €23.50. And then for dinner, we went out to a restaurant, and it cost us €37.50. Our total for Monday was €192.67, including our accommodation. All right, so Tuesday is our last day, and unfortunately, we were still fighting off a cold, so we started our day off a little bit late. We had a late brunch that day, and that cost us 41.60 euros. We also picked up some stuff from the pharmacy, which cost us 15.80 euros. In the afternoon, we had some more energy as we'd recovered a bit, and we wanted to make the most of our last day, so we went for another nice long walk. We checked out this well-known hot chocolate spot, and man, it was expensive. It was like 29.60 euros for 2 hot chocolates. We ended up taking the metro back to our Airbnb later on, which cost 3.80 euros. And then for dinner, we went to this pizza and pasta place, which was quite affordable. Cost us 23 euros for dinner. And to wrap up the evening, we picked up another raspberry tart for dessert, and that cost us 4.20 euros. Altogether, the grand total for our final day was 197.97 euros, including our accommodation. All right, so let's look at our final total here. So if we add up all the spending for 6 days, we have a grand total of 992.81 euros. This averages to approximately 165 euros per day for 2 people. So I just want to provide some further explanation as well to help you guys out. So if we were to break down our spending per person, came out to about 83 euros per day for us, which I guess that puts us under the 100 euro per day mark, which is what we've titled this video with. But if you take a look at our spending, there's a 17 euro-ish buffer between what we spent and that 100 euro mark. So you could actually use that buffer to do some of those activities that we didn't do. For example, tickets to go up to the Eiffel Tower, they start at around 11 euros, the Louvre starts at around 15 euros, and the Chateau Versailles tickets seem to range from 10 euros to over 100 euros. You can definitely prioritize your spending to fit your budget based on whether you want to walk more or take the transit, whether you want to eat out all the time or cook a little bit, or whether you want to do some of the paid versus the free activities. I think the point being is that 100 euros per day is a very healthy budget for an individual to have a great experience in Paris. Now, as promised, when it comes to some general tips to save some money in Paris, this is what we found worked for us. First, we found that eating at boulangeries was a great way to save money instead of eating out somewhere. The food is so good, and you can get a sandwich for really cheap and it fills you up. As tourists coming from Canada, we just love walking and seeing the old architecture that you just don't get back home. So we found that walking was honestly just a great way of transportation and to see the city. And then going long distance, the metro is really solid and it's pretty inexpensive. And then once you add getting the discount of 10 plus tickets, and if you're just staying within the city, it's pretty affordable just to take the metro everywhere. The last thing we found that is when you do eat out, if you can avoid eating near some of those major tourist destinations like the Eiffel Tower or Notre Dame, you'll find that the prices are cheaper than if you were to eat right beside those landmarks. Now, obviously that's up to you, and if you want that view, then great, but you'll get a great restaurant experience in those other places and they'll be more affordable as well. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed watching today's video or you found it helpful, we would love it if you gave a like or thumbs up on this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.